Hey guys, so in this video, I want to go over how agencies are finding unlimited qualified leads and exactly how they're getting in contact with them to book meetings and then sign them up as clients as well. And how do I know this? Because we do this for ourselves every single day. I think we booked around 9 qualified bookings yesterday alone, just for ourselves. But besides that, the entire function of our company is to help agencies book qualified meetings, sign high-paying clients, and then generate more revenue overall. So after doing this for a long time and figuring out tons of systems to do this, we've created a 3-step process that any agency can follow, right? Whether you've tried outreach, whether you're just starting out, whether you've been growing from referrals your entire life, any agency can follow this system and get to a point where they're predictably booking qualified meetings with decision makers of high budget established companies and convert them predictably into new clients. And the thing is, you might have tried outreach already. You might have sent your little LinkedIn connections, you sent your messages, but then you got tired after a while and you just forgot to send it, or you felt like you were spamming people. You might have sent your cold emails, you might have bought a tool, sent it automatically, didn't get any replies, or if you did, it was just saying no thanks or stop messaging me, don't ever message me ever again. It's totally understandable. You might have even hired a lead gen agency, right? And it didn't work out. You might have even hired 3 lead gen agencies and it still didn't work. Freelancers, employees, all these things, salespeople. It's totally understandable. I've heard it all. I speak to agency owners every single day and I can understand if it's very overwhelming, trying to manage outreach, trying to manage marketing and sales while managing 10,000 other things like accounting, like managing a team, like managing your employees. It can be overwhelming, it can be frustrating, it's very up and down, it's very roller coaster in terms of the results. And one of the reasons why it's so overwhelming, it's so up and down, is because it may just be reliant on you and you might not have a clear proven system in place. And the goal of this video is to give you that clear proven system that you can follow to go from struggling to book meetings, being confused, being overwhelmed, to having a predictable system that is going to generate this many bookings every single day, and you can have a clear idea so you can actually forecast. You have predictable revenue. You'll know when new money is coming in and you won't have to worry about, not being able to pay your bills, not being able to pay your employees, anything like that. It'll just be very organized and it'll be very systemized as well. So before we get into it, if you don't know who I am, my name's Ethan Welby. I'm the co-founder of Agency Growth Partner. Like I was mentioning, our pure focus is in helping marketing agencies to scale up. So if you want more information on that, you can just check the link in the description. So the first thing that we're going to need is clarity. Clarity on who you're helping and clarity on what you're helping them to do. So I got into a call with a marketing agency owner yesterday and I asked him the question, who is your ideal client? Who would you like to target? Because he was coming onto the call and he was saying that acquisition was his biggest problem. He was saying that he had the foundations, he had the delivery system. He just didn't have enough qualified leads coming into the door so that he and his sales team could make the sales and then convert them into clients, right? So I asked him, okay, who actually is your ideal client? Who do you want to work with? And his exact answer was anyone with budget. And the thing is, it's understandable why agency owners would think that way. Anyone with budget would be the ideal client. But I'll tell you why that's not right in a sec. And this is a common thing that I hear over and over and over. Marketing agencies, right? Marketing agency owners who literally tell their clients to pick a niche so that they can specialize. They come onto the call and they tell me that they can work with anyone. They literally mention that they tell the opposite advice to their clients, but they don't follow it. And again, it's understandable. And don't get me wrong, this can work. You can sign clients if you work with everyone. But the thing is, if you want predictability, if you want to actually build a system that's going to allow you to get in contact with the right people consistently, you can't just target everyone, right? Everyone can't just be your target market. So the first thing that we do for every single client that comes on board is to get specific. We want to figure out, exactly who we're going to target, because the thing is, if we know exactly who we want to target, we can make our messaging extremely specific to them. And the more specific the messaging is, the more effective it becomes. And one of the biggest objections that I always get from marketing agencies when I say something like this is that they don't want to change the whole business. They have all these clients, they don't want to make a big shift and it's just going to be so much work and they have to do all this stuff and they have to rebrand and all this stuff. So what I want to say to that is that you actually don't need to change your whole business. The only reason that we need to pick a niche now is for the system, for the outbound system, the way to get in contact with them. Because the thing is, you can work with everyone. But in our messaging, when we're contacting new people, when we're getting in contact with new prospects, we only want to choose a specific segment of the market, a specific type of person, so that we can make super specific messaging to them. And this is just for the campaign, right? So you don't have to change your whole business strategy We just need to isolate it for this one campaign. And this one campaign could be consistently booking your meetings over and over. And the thing is, once we find proof of concept with this campaign and it's booking, let's say, a meeting a day, we can move on to a different niche and book a meeting per day on this one. And we just keep going over and over. So what I always recommend for agencies, if they're not working with us, is find your best case study, okay? Go through your case studies now, figure out which one is your best one and which one do you enjoy working with. And once you have your best case study, this will be the first market that you go after, because we want to go after people as similar to your case study as possible. Because in your messaging, when you do reach out to them, if your case study is extremely similar to the person you're speaking to, there's going to be so much relatability in what you did in terms of the problems that you solved for this case study that you can actually potentially apply for this new prospect. And because it's so similar, the prospect's going to be like, okay, this is exactly like me. I'm going to get onto the call so that I can actually learn more because, I want the exact same outcome and I have the exact same problem. And if you don't have case studies, you're in luck because you aren't actually leveraging your results to get the booking. What you're going to be leveraging is the fact that you're going to work on a performance basis, the fact that you're just starting out, and the fact that, you just want to get off the ground, you just want to get some results in. So if you don't have case studies, I made another video on how to sign clients without case studies as well. You can check that out. But you're not going to be leveraging results to actually get the booking. Now, the second thing that agencies need to be able to get unlimited qualified leads is a point of differentiation. Why do you stand out from every single other agency offering the exact same thing? And don't say you have better customer service. Don't say you care about your clients more. Everyone says the exact same thing. Right, so I'll tell you a quick story from when I started out and how I actually applied this to get to the point where we're signing clients predictably. So when I first started out, I was offering a pay-per booking offer to agencies. Right, so I would go out to marketing agencies. I'd say, we'll book you this many appointments in this time frame on a pay-per-booking basis. Right, so they only pay when bookings come in. And the thing is, there were lots and lots of people offering the exact same thing. So when I would send an outreach message to try and get a booking for myself, try and get a meeting, I would get the same response in that, hey, I get the same message every day in my inbox. I get 30 of these every day. Why are you different? Why are you different? Why are you different? And this is before I even got onto the call with them. Right, so as you can imagine, there's so much friction, there's so much of the market pushing back on me. It can get frustrating, it can get disheartening as well, because everyone's pretty much saying no before you even speak to them. And then you have to start selling yourself, and then the dynamic's so bad, and then it's just not fun at all. And then the worst part is that once you do get onto the call and you do get into the pricing and you make the pitch, at the end they're like, okay, cool, but why are you different from everyone else? And then they start comparing you to cheaper options. They're like, this guy on Upwork can do it for $3 an hour. This guy on Fiverr will do it for $200 one time and never again. So then it's like you're competing with the entire world, and it's just so frustrating. And the thing is, if you're in the situation now where you get onto a call but someone doesn't end up buying, and it's because they're going with a cheaper option, a competitor, someone with potentially a worse service, but just because they're cheaper or they know the person, they go with them. If you're in this situation, it's totally understandable. And most of our clients are in that situation before they work with us, in the sense that they try to do outreach, they try to do networking, they try to sign clients proactively, they're doing the work. But because there's no point of differentiation, there's no uniqueness in what they have, because of that, they're putting in all this work, but it's bringing no return because there's no leverage, there's no point of differentiation. So for my situation, one of the things that I did to actually get me out of this, commoditized market was actually create content, create sales assets. And this is just one of the methods that we use, but this is just an example for the point right now. But like I was saying, everyone is offering the same thing in terms of a very similar service. But the marketing agencies that we were pitching, they didn't trust any of them because I've had so many bad experiences with them. So I thought, I knew that I was better than all of them. So I'll just make some content, right? I'll just make some content, give away some stuff for free. Then they'll see that I'm good, and then they'll just sign up. So I started making these YouTube videos, started posting on LinkedIn as well. And I would just give away value for free. And the thing is, they would look at it, they'll be like, okay. Then they'll apply it. Let me see if this stuff works. And then it worked, right? And then it actually worked. It actually got them great results. So then they got onto the call with me. And then they start off the call by saying, thank you. The information that you gave helped so much. I booked an extra 5 meetings. I was like, hey, I just met you, man. And they're like, oh yeah, I watched your videos. And I was like, oh, that's great. So every call that I took was so much easier because I've built that trust up front. And again, this is just one way to differentiate yourself, but it showed instant results. It's not like you have to wait and change your entire business model, change your whole website, change your whole brand positioning. It's literally just creating a couple of videos and sending it to prospects before a call. It can be that simple. So in terms of what you can do right now to differentiate yourself in any outbound, in any sales process, in any inbound, anything, if you're just starting out, you need to leverage guarantees and performance-based pricing, right? Because you don't have any case studies, you don't have any other things. So I'd recommend working on a performance basis until you get some clients in. And then after you do that, you can start, going from there. But secondly, if you're already running an agency who has an existing client base, you have case studies, you have a team, you have systems in place, you have everything there in the back end, what you can leverage is your case studies, right? And it sounds simple, but your case studies are your point of differentiation. Because let's say you help Nike. That is one of your past clients. And honestly, one of our past marketing agency clients, they actually work with Nike, which is why I'm using this example. But let's say you work with Nike as one of your past clients. Nobody else, or, very few other people work with Nike in terms of your competitors. So you working with Nike is your competitive advantage, because if you go out and reach out to other similar, whether that's fashion brands, whether that's, sneaker brands, whatever it might be in terms of similarities to Nike, because it's so similar, that is going to be your point of differentiation. The fact that other people haven't been able to work with Nike, that immediately makes you unique, because now people are thinking, okay, what did they do to actually land a deal with Nike and get these sort of results? Right? There has to be something different. They must be better, right? They must be the best, because Nike is here. Nike is a fantastic company. So if you are working with them, that immediately raises your status, right? So case studies is going to be a point of differentiation, and I'll show you how you can use them in a minute. Now, another point of differentiation is your brand, and brand is a very big term. It can mean a lot of things, but simply put, if you want to get the quickest results, leveraging sales assets like the one I'm making right now for this video is one of the quickest ways to do that. And honestly, it's not difficult. It's very, very easy to do, but people still don't do it. It's just figure out what problems is your niche facing. And this is why we started with clarity, right? Because we need to figure out who we're looking to target first. So figure out what problems they were facing before working with you. Then you just need to record a quick video explaining how you solve that problem, and go into as much detail as you'd like and explain how you solve that problem. And it can be, between 10 and 30 minutes long. And the thing is, every single time that you speak to a prospect, you can send them this video, right? You can send them this video and they will consume it, and they'll see, wow, this guy actually solved it. It's going to show a case study too, because you're going to be explaining it, based on that case study. So in the video, you're just going to explain, hey, we helped this case study to do this. This is how we did it. We followed this process. This is how you can do it for yourself. And the thing is, people are going to watch it. They're going to get value from it. They're going to trust you now. And then they're going to be way more likely to get onto the call. And if they do get onto the call, which again will be more likely, they will be even more likely to close, because you've already built that trust. You've already showed your expertise. And now they've gotten a taste of what you could do by watching the video alone. They'd be more receptive to actually getting started and, signing up from there. So this is the effect that I found with having this YouTube channel, in the sense that people would book a call with me. I'd send them my YouTube. They'd go through like 10 to 20 videos. And by the time they get onto the call, they already know what I do, right? They already know what I do. They already know who I am. And then they just want to get some additional info to decide if they want to get started or not, like the pricing. So from this, find your point of differentiation, whether this is case studies, whether this is content, and then leverage this in the next step, which is generate attention at scale. Now, this is arguably the most important point, because the thing is, you could have the best service in the world. You could have the best team in the world. You could have the best everything in the world. But if nobody sees it, it's pointless. It doesn't exist, right? So this is what I hear very, very often when I speak to agency owners, in the sense that when I get onto the call, they talk for hours and hours about how great their service is. And it is. They get fantastic results. And they talk about their team that they hired from this great place, and they've been doing so well. And all this is happening in the back end, but it's almost like it's happening in the shadows, right? It's like they have this curtain just covering all the things that they do, and only the people that sign up as clients can see what's inside this curtain. And the thing is, when everything's hidden, it's pointless, because prospects can't see that. And the worst part is, they might even have fantastic case studies, like massive case studies. I've seen some clients come on with case studies with billion-dollar companies, and they don't talk about it. So it's like they're sitting on gold, but they're just not leveraging it. So they kind of realize this, and you might be in the same situation, in that you kind of realize that you need to actually get in front of new people. Like, you actually need to get attention. Most agency owners, they think, okay, it makes sense, so I'll just do it like sporadically. I'll just, send some LinkedIn connections someday, and I'll, If I see this guy on LinkedIn, I'll send him a message, I'll have a conversation for 3 hours and nothing will come from it. Or I'll send some emails, or I'll go to a networking event, or I'll talk to our clients, something like that. They just start doing some things, but it's never actually, predictable. It's never actually systemized. And then because it doesn't bring results from day one, because, they're probably not doing it properly, then they stop doing it. So they realize that they need attention because, nobody's going to buy if they don't know you exist. They know they need the attention, but they don't know how to actually get the attention. And that's one of the biggest components of what we do, which is generating this attention with their ideal clients at scale. So this is why I started by mentioning that we need clarity. We need to figure out exactly who we're actually going to target, right? Then we need to figure out our point of differentiation. Why should they work with you as opposed to every other marketing agency, right? And by leveraging these two things, now we can go out and have extremely effective acquisition campaigns. And the thing is, most agencies, if they do, realize that they need more clients, they start with the attention. They start with, shaking more hands at the networking event, which never actually works. And then they realize, why is it not converting into clients? They may get some attention, but even then it doesn't convert into the client. And one of the biggest reasons why it doesn't work for most agencies is because it's reliant on the founders, right? It's reliant on the founders. And the thing is, when it's reliant on one person who's so busy, it doesn't get done, and doesn't get done consistently, right? Most of the time, they don't even have the right system. That's a given. But even if they did, even the 1% that did, they may have the right system, but they just don't do it consistent enough to actually get consistent returns because they're so busy, and it's understandable. And this is one of the biggest things that we fix with our company, because we understand the inconsistency that comes with founder-led acquisition. So the first steps to getting your attention campaign, your acquisition campaign off the ground, and there's a lot that goes into it, but I'll try and keep it as clear as possible now, is firstly, we want to identify exactly what is the desired outcome of your niche, right? What is the desired outcome of your ideal client? Because the thing is, we could talk about our brand, our service, all this stuff, but the thing is, they only want the outcome, right? They don't care what you do, they only care what you can do for them. But luckily, if you're working with businesses, most likely they want more revenue, right? It's very simple, it's very easy. So anything that you do needs to be tied to a revenue outcome. If you do SEO and you generate leads, these leads need to be tied to generating more revenue, right? If you do, marketing, if you do inbound marketing for them, you need to tie your inbound marketing to new revenue generated. If you do advertising, okay, that one's very simple. You tie your advertising to your new revenue generated. Anything that you do needs to be tied to something tangible, something numerical. It needs to be a metric. Without a clear offer, these business owners will never give you the time, because they need to see some specificity when they're getting so many messages every single day. So step one, determine the ideal outcome of your niche. So in our case, for marketing agencies, we've helped some marketing agencies increase their revenue by 50, 100K. So we put as our ideal outcome, increasing their revenue, and again by around 50, 100K a month. Then going on to step two, which is creating the messaging. We want to create our messaging based off of our best case study, right? So all we're doing is speaking on the past. So for example, if you help Nike to add an extra billion, what you can do is say, hey John, we helped Nike to add an extra billion. Would you be open to discussing how we could potentially do this for your sneaker brand as well? Right, so now you have your ideal outcome. Now you have your messaging as well. Your initial messaging is very simple. You can keep it very simple at the start. Then what we're going to do is run tests. And this is a large component of why founder-led outreach doesn't work, because they don't have the time to do these tests, to track the numbers, to do all this stuff. And this is what we take care of. But what you're going to do is, if this initial messaging doesn't hit KPI, if it doesn't hit the numbers that you needed to hit, for example, booking 1 meeting from every 10 messages sent, then we need to test different variations of this message. So it could be the case that, these businesses, they want to increase their revenue, but they also want to do it in a way that doesn't require, ad spend. And that's just an example. They may just want more specific things. So for marketing agencies, for example, I could say we could help you increase your revenue, but what they also want is high paying clients, right? And what they also want is consistent inflow of new bookings. And what they also want is to build a sales team so that they can remove themselves from the day to day. So by mentioning all these other things, it makes the messaging more appealing, which will result in more meetings booked and more closed deals. So we'll be continually running tests every single week to find the messaging that works the best. And then once we find the winner, right, once we find the best, one that hits KPI, then we scale that one up. So we massively increase the volume on that. And that can allow you to get to the point where you're booking 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 meetings every single day, just using that one script alone. And you just scale that one up. So that's the overall process for actually getting attention. This is something we take care of for our clients as well. So if you want more information on that, you can check the link in the description, because I know it's a lot to go through, and it just takes a lot of time as well. And a lot of the founders that we speak to, a lot of the directors, founders, managing partners, they just don't have the time to do that. And that's really our ideal client, because what we look for are agencies who have everything in the back end, and the founder is pretty much leading the acquisition, and they really just want to either remove themselves from it, scale things up, or they've just been grown from referrals their entire career. So we just take that off their hands and allow them to scale their agency. It's completely done for you. And then they just grow on autopilot. So those are the 3 things that we need. Firstly, is clarity. We need to know exactly who we're targeting. Secondly, we need a point of differentiation. We need a way to stand out from every single other agency offering the exact same thing and why they should buy from you. And now we have attention, right? So we're getting this offer in front of the right people at scale. And this is going to allow you to predictably get qualified leads in the door, predictably book the meetings, and then close the deals beyond that. So if you found this video useful, check out some other ones where we go into a lot more detail on building offers, on doing outreach, making sales, and everything else. And if you like this video, subscribe for more, and I will talk to you in the next one.